It's definitely got a trippy, druggy kind of feel to it.
Yeah,
However, the lyrics of the song being about the song being weird.
that's true.
That's all the song is.
True, true. Hello again and welcome to I've Got a Beatles podcast with Dave and Chris. And Chris is looking very out of it right now.
Oh, Dave, your background looks crazy.
It does. You like my
Is
my
that
crazy
background? Do you have a special background up, or is that my trip I'm on?
Yeah. Exactly. You can't see through your trippy
Yeah.
glasses right now, but we're
Yeah.
yes, as you
Oh,
can tell if
oh,
you're
Dave,
Oh,
Dave.
hey, there
Oh,
you are.
okay.
There, you're back. Excellent. If you're not watching, you're missing some great things. So check out our YouTube channel just to make sure you can see
Yeah.
the opening because we are decked out with psychedelic backgrounds and shades and albums and lighting and all that good stuff because we're going to talk about the Beatles' psychedelic music and ranking
Yeah.
of what we feel are the most psychedelic Beatles songs
Yeah.
and why. Because it's one of those things everybody knows. It may be like they think they know what psychedelic is, but it's harder to actually explain concretely, right?
Yeah. It's kind of like more a feel than anything else. There's some obvious, like if you hear like 8 Miles High,
Yeah,
you're like,
yeah.
okay, that's
Or
psychedelic.
or White Rabbit by Jefferson
Yeah,
Airplane,
yeah,
something. Yeah.
yeah. Very clear incense and peppermints, clearly stuff. But yeah, but what? How would you define what psychedelic music is, Dave?
Well, I'd like to take us back to an episode I recorded. I did an interview with William Echard, who wrote the book Psychedelic Popular Music. And it
Yeah.
was one of our earlier episodes. We'll link it in the description here so you can
Hmm.
go back and listen to that interview. But I asked him this question. And then in the meantime, I've looked at the Wikipedia page, which actually gives some pretty good definitions. So let me give you the quick summary here. Centered around rock music, centered in the mid 60s around the influence of psychoactive and hallucinogenic drugs. The
Yeah.
music incorporated new electronic sound effects and recording techniques, extended instrumental solos, and improvisation.
Yeah.
And then some other stuff that William Eckerd discussed, like maybe Indian influence or non-Western influences or different scale uses or just sort of a disassociation in the lyrics, being out of your in a surreal world kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And obviously, the drug of the time that was really brought about the psychedelic movement was LSD.
Yes.
And LSD was about entering a dreamlike, mind bending state. So the music created that what we call psychedelic is kind of similar and so that takes a lot of different forms. The Indian music or non-Western music influences, I think, droning,
Drones, yeah.
particularly modal melodies, things of that nature, I think influenced it in a lot of these Beatles tracks. Obviously,
Yeah.
we'll hear some of that. The sound, the structure of the songs being strange. Maybe in a lot of these Beatles tracks, we get a lot of the studio effects, a lot of the weird panning and the weird
Hmm.
flanging echo and the heavy reverb and the immersive sort of soundscapey type thing. And then obviously the mellotron and some different instrumentation that sounds a little weirder,
Hmm.
things like that. But and then also the tape loops and the studio effects of just weird shit thrown in just to make it weird.
Yeah.
But also, I think that for me the most psychedelic ones are also because LSD was a therapeutic thing, and it was really trying to have people like, and still exists today in different form. Now it's more like psilocybin, a little
Mm.
bit safer, more controlled trips that the point of which is to change the mind, to have the mind um, maybe go into a dreamlike state and maybe figure out the meaning of life or figure out a deeper kind of like thing, you know?
Right.
So, yeah. So it's such a loose definition, though. And it's like, why is one thing definitely, yes, this one's definitely psychedelic and this one, not so much.
Yeah, and that's going to be the question we're going to deal with within the Beatles catalog because I think for when you if you say psychedelic groups of the 60s, you think of Jefferson Airplane or the Grateful Dead or Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
Groups like that are pretty obvious, even though the story may be more interesting because Pink Floyd really, apart from Sid Barrett, really didn't do that much LSD or weren't
Yeah.
really into that too
Yeah.
much. But then you had Jerry Garcia and of the Grateful Dead, who was very much into doing LSD. And so then, as with everything in that time period, you have the Beatles, who are the Pied Pipers, as it were, and ran with this genre through 1966 and 67, particularly.
I'm glad you mentioned the genre too, because I feel like there's different genres of psychedelic music. So
Yeah.
obviously the Beatles would be in the rock genre, but also in the pop genre. I think they're sort of like in that kind of thing. Some of the rock stuff is a little heavier than the Beatles tend to go. It's a little bit louder, a little bit more distorted. I think would be rock. Beatles definitely one of the things about pop. If we think, I think the one song that pops into my mind always is My Green Tambourine. That's
Oh
definitely
yeah,
a
yeah.
pop song. It's
Right.
not really rock, but it's got that tape manipulation. It's got those weird vocal things and
Hmm.
that kind of stuff. And it's got some, some Indian
Sitar-y kind
guitar
of.
type stuff,
Right. Right.
But then you've got psychedelic folk. Donovan probably be the
Yes.
biggest person to point that way. And then later, I think later than the Beatles stopped doing psychedelic soul and funk came up and was more
Yeah.
prominent. And of course, you also have electronic music, psychedelic electronic music, and one of the John Hopkins. Have you heard of John Hopkins?
No.
He's a
No.
current artist in that world that like music for psychedelic trip, I think, is his last album.
Mm.
So it's definitely a wide ranging genre. And and then you get into like freak folk and neo psychedelic, and
Yeah.
there's all kinds of like things later on. But obviously the Beatles, they existed in this one time. But I feel like they kind of went through their psychedelic phase, and then because there's not much on the last couple albums that
No.
I would consider psychedelic.
No, I think, and you can date it almost to some of the quotes that George Harrison said when he went over to see Haight-Ashbury in San Francisco in August of 1967, I think. And he just talked about how it was just, he was expecting groovy people and lots of fun and peace and love. And he saw just druggy kids and
Yeah,
junkies, and it
yeah.
was dirty and gross. And then later on in the anthology that just came out that we all remember, he said, "Well, I saw LSD under the microscope and it looked like ropes or something. And I just decided I don't need to put that in my head anymore."
Yeah,
And so they eventually stopped taking it. And yeah, like you
yeah,
say, after really, once you get past 1967, you don't really see much psychedelic Beatles anymore.
yeah.
So
But
it's,
they
yeah,
all took it.
yes,
I don't think it influenced Paul very much.
no,
As far
compared to the
as when
others.
I go through the lists of songs that are Beatles songs that I think are really psychedelic, I really don't. I'm not finding much Paul.
I put
Uh,
one on my little list just because I
okay,
have to represent Paul somewhere. But
okay.
it's
Well,
a
there's
stretch a
none
little.
on my list.
Right.
So, but obviously, we talked about Indian music, so that's obviously George. And then when you think of one reason I put these on, when you think of the Beatles and psychedelic music, you get a picture of John with his little haircut and maybe there's a tie-dye thing behind them,
Yeah,
like
and his
you.
mustache
So
and
yeah.
yeah.
So those two, I think, led the charge. A little bit of Ringo here and there, at least in some of the he worked on some of the tape loops,
Right.
and we'll talk about if a Ringo song, if there is a Ringo song that's psychedelic or not.
Yeah.
But what we were gonna do and is rank our top 10 most psychedelic. Now, before we do that, I want to ask you a personal question, and
Okay.
feel free to be like none of your business. But have you ever had any kind of what you would consider psychedelic trip?
I have not. No.
Okay, I
No,
have one
I
time.
I was gonna say if I've told many people if I was told that tomorrow I would die and that there was nothing I could do, then the one first thing I would do would try to get something psychedelic and listen to Sergeant
Mhm.
Pepper or Piper the Gates of Dawn or something just to experience
Yeah,
it. But I've not had any personal experience. So, but you have.
I took mushrooms one time and when I was with some friends at a resort, and he's
Uh-huh.
like, "Oh, I got some mushrooms." I'm like, "Oh, fine, I'll take mushrooms." And the thing is, I wasn't very prepared for it, so I think, and I didn't have music around. It should have been.
Mm,
I should have. I'd like to experience some sort of psychedelic trip, maybe with some music involved in it,
right, right.
but I didn't do that. I didn't plan ahead very well because it was sort of like spur of the moment. And so I did see the moon turn into a heart shape. So
Ooh, ooh.
that was a it was kind of otherwise it was kind of a rough night.
Oh, oh.
So
Yeah, that's kind of what I've heard because
yeah.
I just taught a Beatles class and I had a student in my class during when we were talking about the psychedelic unit. I'll use they just so we won't know who it is,
Yeah.
but they came to me after class and said, I've done a fair amount of LSD and would be happy to talk to you about it and what it's
Oh,
like. And
that's
so the
cool.
student, yeah, a student came and talked to me and some of it was really eye-opening and positive, and some of it really wasn't. So
Yeah, yeah.
it was kind of a mixed bag, but
It can be like if you look yourself in the mirror, for instance, you can get really
yeah. And,
messed up in the head by that. So,
oh yeah,
but
exactly. But it made the student told me, well, I really understand a lot more what John would talk about when he
yeah.
was talking about his LSD trips, or it made sense, the stuff he was talking about, what he would see, and George saying sometimes it's fine, you're just walking around, you don't notice anything, and then other times
Yeah.
it's like everything's on fire.
Yeah.
So I think some of these songs are like that too, because some of them are pretty normal on the face of it, but then it's what they
Yeah.
do to blur
Yeah.
everything that
Yeah,
makes
and
it
some of it
trippy.
it's like this sounds more they sound psychedelic. They're going for a psychedelic sound, but were they on drugs when they wrote it or were
Right,
they inspired by drugs? Maybe, maybe not.
right.
Later on, in the story of the Beatles. Of course, anything that they say too could be
Yeah,
bullshit.
yeah. Yeah,
Right?
I mean,
Oh
I,
no, we weren't taking drugs when we wrote.
I'm the walrus or
Yeah,
what? Well, he
yeah.
did
It's
say
like,
that, but yeah.
yeah, but come on.
But no, you're right. And it turns out a lot of that Jerry Garcia said that they thought when they would sometimes take LSD while they before a gig or something, and he said we thought we played amazing, and then it you listen the next day and it sounded awful,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
Ringo said
Definitely
that too.
performance wise,
Yeah,
I don't think pretty much maybe weed's fine, but pretty
yeah,
much any other drug will alter you in a negative fashion, I believe, when you're
yeah.
performing.
You think you're
So
amazing, but
yeah.
the audience is not into it.
Now I
So,
know friends that live in Denver, and in Denver the psilocybin is legal
mm,
with
hmm
mushrooms. Now mushrooms different than slightly different trip than LSD, but it's the closest normal kind of
yeah,
legal thing. But most people who do like mushroom stuff do like minor doses and do what they call what is it,
micro dosing.
microdosing.
Yeah, yeah,
So, and I've talked to a few people who've done that, and they're like, yeah, you'll be just like cleaning your house or something, and they'll be like, did that
What's that?
couch move? So it's like that kind
Yeah.
of thing. It's not like, but it's supposed to be like a thing that's a therapeutic thing that if you're doing every day,
Mm,
after a while, it changes some things in your mind to like rewire like your
mhm.
brain in a more positive way. So,
Which is kind of a contrast from
yeah.
John saying he ate it for breakfast and took it thousands of
Yeah.
times, which probably didn't do a good.
Yeah.
We've talked about this as we'll get into the ranking here in a second, but a point for another show at some point. But
Hmm.
John's John really sort of declines after the psychedelic period in the Beatles in terms
Hmm.
of influence and amount of music and contributions. And maybe some of it started during this period because the LSD was so
Yeah.
powerful for him that it changed him. I don't know.
Yeah. The biggest cautionary tale, of course, right behind me on this side,
Oh, yeah.
I've got the alternate cover of Piper at the Gates of Dawn and Pink Floyd. And what a great album. What a brilliant album. Obviously fueled by LSD,
Yeah.
trippy, psychedelic sounding stuff. But Sid Barrett took
Yep.
way too much and it messed him up for life.
Yeah.
So, by no means is this podcast saying to go do LSD.
No. Disclaimer. We are not
Disclaimer: we are not
recommending
recommending
or
LSD, or if things are legal in your state and you feel like partake,
yeah.
then go ahead. But yeah, yeah,
We're just observing and looking at the music and
yeah,
interpreting it. So, speaking of, shall we get to our
yeah,
list? Because we were saying before we jumped on, I wrote down about 19 songs that could even be potentially in the running.
yeah,
And, but then I did narrow them down to
yeah.
10, and you did the same.
Yeah, we'll talk about the 10, and maybe there's some differences on our lists. Maybe there's some connections. And then if anything's left over, I've got a long list of stuff that maybe made playlists that I saw online
Yeah.
of Beatles. And a couple of these I was very curious by, like, why is that considered psychedelic?
Yeah.
I didn't think one song in particular, I was like, not psychedelic at all to me. But some other, so I went through. Nothing before Rubber Soul, I don't think at all could be considered psychedelic.
No, I saw somebody claiming that Ticket to Ride is psychedelic, but
No,
that's not,
we'll
I
give that
would
a
not
zero on
give
the
that.
ranking of 0 to 10.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's different things, but not psychedelic. I would not say.
Yeah,
Because remember,
and
the Beatles didn't even take LSD until that tour when they met with the dentist in '65. So
yeah,
it was after the Help stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that's even an issue.
Okay, do you want to start us off here?
Sure. How many do you want to just one at a time or
Yeah,
uh,
just one at a time, and
okay.
you'll say it's on your list, and I'll see if it's on my list.
Okay. So yeah, so here as I say, my top five are in kind of an order, but the others are not. So we'll
All
just
right.
go from there. So here's one I have on the list. Let's go with Fixing a Hole. So here's my Paul
Okay.
McCartney choice, the one I could get in on there. And I put it
Mhm.
on there because it's slightly psychedelic with his lyrics, fixing a hole where the rain gets in and stops my mind from wandering where it will go.
Yeah.
So, what could that be? What's going on? And the contradictions, it really doesn't matter if I'm wrong, I'm right. When I'm alone, I'm right. When I'm alone, all over the place, the fuzzy guitar, the harpsichord,
Yep.
it's got kind of a dreamy feel. So that's
Hmm.
why, so for Paul,
Yeah.
I put maybe a 5 or 6 on it.
It's funny because we have in the background here Sergeant Pepper. I feel like you think when you think the Beatles psychedelic period, you like picture them in there,
Yeah, the
so,
cover.
the cover
Yeah.
and but the actual songs, are they all that psychedelic? Some are not, definitely, and then I put Fixing a Hole kind of like almost
Almost.
like,
Yeah, it's a
yeah,
near
it's like,
psychedelic.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's some stuff in it that's sort of like, but the Fixing a Hole part, the lyrical part of it being very kind of opaque, but they're getting at something, but we're not sure what, you know. I feel like that fits in pretty good. And
Yeah.
then some of the musical elements too.
Just
But
trying to get something from Paul in there.
yeah.
But yeah. So how about you? What's one of
So
yours?
so my one and on I would say by the way, fixing holes about a 6
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I
on
said.
that from 1 to 10. I put only sevens and up.
Okay.
A 7 for me, a song about it being a weird song, only a northern song.
Ah, good choice. Yeah.
It's got that crazy like sputtering brass stuff that's going on, and
Uh-huh.
the really weirdo vocal stuff in the bridge, the bridge, you know.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's a good choice. And I want to say druggy pacing of it, but it's a very
yeah,
slow kind of like
yeah.
lackadaisical, lazy
And
singing.
yeah,
Yeah.
it feels like they're all like dripping, you know, falling.
Right.
So it's that definitely got a trippy, druggy kind of feel to it.
Yeah,
However, the lyrics of the song being about the song being weird,
that's true.
is that's all the song is, you know.
True, true. Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this before. Would that
Yeah,
have fit well on Sergeant Pepper? Because it was recorded for Sergeant Pepper. So
yeah,
do you think it would have fit?
eh,
Mm,
maybe, maybe.
maybe. Yeah. Better.
So
They picked a better one, I think.
yeah. Yeah, so that's my and then I'll do then the next one
Yeah, go
here
ahead.
is the lightest as far as I just think this song to me because it's earlier on the album than uh another song that will definitely make everybody's list. I'm Only Sleeping,
Yeah.
which I love that song, but I do feel like it's very trippy, and they're talking about floating upstream and the dream state, and they claim it was just about sleeping,
Yeah.
but maybe it was. But the key thing being that reverse guitar, the first appearance ever of reverse guitar on any song anywhere, this claims the internet.
Yeah.
So that really gives you a very round, and then particularly at the end where it just that's all it
Yeah.
is that
Breaks
reverse
down.
guitar.
Yeah.
So it's lighter than some of these other ones, but definitely, um, definitely to me still psychedelic, and maybe the first real psychedelic Beatles song.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Definitely good choice. Good choice. I also put from same album, I put She Said on
Oh,
there
yeah,
because it actually is about an LSD trip that John had, and when Peter Fonda, was it Peter Fonda, I think, kept coming up to him saying, "I know what it's like to be dead," and they were sitting out with the birds in LA
yeah,
and tripping, and he just kept hearing that, like, "I don't want to know, stop telling me what it's like to be dead." And
yeah,
so the lyrics, the meter is weird, the
yeah,
guitar sounds, it's she said, "I know what it's like to be dead. I know what
yeah.
it is to be sad, and making me feel like I've never been born." Like all this
Yeah,
stuff.
that's
Very,
very lyrically very trippy, and then yeah, and
yeah,
then it's definitely the heavily modified guitars that
yeah,
stand out on that one, you know.
yeah. And the fade out also has the "she said, I know what it's like" kind of confusing
Yeah,
ending in there too. So,
yeah,
light on the lighter side, but I would still say a psychedelic because it's about a psychedelic experience. So
yeah.
there's that.
All right, give me another one here.
Okay, then we'll go back to George, and I put Blue Jay Way on there.
Okay, that was on
But
my list at 6.
okay, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah,
But my 6 and they're all mixed
yeah,
up together, so we can talk about it
yeah.
as one here.
Okay,
So
so yeah, I'll start just again the drones. You mentioned drones earlier. This is a very drony type song that
yeah,
has very little harmony, one chord or just a
yeah.
few
On
chords,
the
and
Hammond organ,
on the organ.
usually you wouldn't think Hammond organ. Oh, that's definitely psychedelic, but If it's just holding one note or one chord the whole time, it's like, oh, I'm getting a little scared.
Yeah. Yeah, very much so. And you've got the cellos and the strings kind of weaving in and out of the texture. George sounds very distorted in his voice
Yeah.
and just yeah, sort of a circular song, but very much maybe it's hard because I'm thinking of the video for Magical Mystery Tour as well,
Yeah.
where he's sitting on the ground in a very foggy area, but it does sound very psychedelic to me.
If you haven't listened to that one in a while, I listened to it last night, very late. Maybe I was a little high myself. And the backup vocals in the verses in the beginning parts are coming in just sort of
Oh
sort of
yeah,
like
yeah,
really just sort of sweeping by like whoa, what was that? So I think yeah, that definitely is trippy. And then the thing about Blue Jay Way is it has a different vibe.
that's
Like, and
true.
it's sort of like the different songs in psychedelic. There's incense and peppermints. It's like, oh, we're all happy in love and peace.
Yeah,
And that's one type of psychedelic. That's not, this is
no,
ominous.
yep.
Something ain't right. And it's sort of like a dangerous feel to it. And there's hints that I may feel, I may be asleep is sort of like hinting at maybe some death or something to it.
Mm, yeah.
So, and then it's definitely weird at the end too. There's a lot of that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, good choice. But George so far got two entries on this list, and I bet
Yeah,
more to come.
yeah, me too. I think George, like, I was like, whoa, George really was George super influential in the psychedelic rock music. I think yes, because of what I'm seeing on these lists. So my what I had down at number 8 was Flying, which
Hmm.
it's got that really flanged guitar, right? There's something about that high descending guitar line that that's just very like, out in the
Yeah.
field with your peace sign up kind of
Yep.
feel to it. And then it's got that mellotron on it that's very like very distinctive.
Da, 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 da.
Yeah. And then you've got those what makes it particularly trippy is the ending, where I guess the ending initially was supposed to be like a jazz type of thing, but they changed it to this being all these weird tape effects with I guess John and Ringo put
Mm,
those together. So it's just crazy sounding at the end of
hmm.
Flying There. And of course, it's one of the few Beatles songs where all four of them are credited and
Yeah. And
it's
you love when they're going
instrumental and
da 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 da.
yeah. But yeah, so anyway, Flying, yeah, I had that at 8.
Yeah, good choice. Good choice.
Yeah.
So, let's see. Here's another one that's not on my top five, but I'll put it in there. Well, I have to have it in here. My favorite Beatles song, Rain.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I put Rain in there
Yeah.
for obvious reasons. The sound of it, it's very sparkly, shimmery. It also has some more surrealistic lyrics. It's got drones. It just feels like an out. This is like the outside, peaceful type of like very pleasant psychedelic experience, not the Blue Jay Way experience. This is
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
positive, very I'm going to find the meaning of
Yeah,
life
I don't
here.
mind.
I don't mind. I'm just
I'm at one with nature. I think
yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
little bit of a theme through some of the psychedelic stuff. Is that us we're
Right, right.
when I was on my mushroom trip, I definitely remember thinking how amazing this one tree was.
Oh yeah. See, there
So
you
it's
go.
like that. So
Yeah. So when you listen to Rain, it's the same kind of
yeah,
nature feeling that you get. So
yeah,
I put Rain, of course, the ending of the song too is
yeah,
psychedelic with the backwards voice as
yeah.
well.
I'll just put my last of the bottom tier.
Yeah.
that I had, which is the Inner Light.
Ooh.
Less. This is less feeling like drug psychedelic and more of the hippie meditation mind expansion.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's definitely the transcendental meditation song.
Oh yeah.
And Ian MacDonald likened the songs studied innocence and exotic sweetness to recordings by the Incredible String Band, who of course were a known psychedelic group,
Folk
a
band.
little more folky
Yeah.
than, but it's spirited and charming. One of its author's most attractive pieces, as
Hmm.
Ian MacDonald said. So, but yeah, I like it. It's obviously the heavy influence. There's barely any Beatles on it except for
Yeah.
George, and then at the end the backup vocals. But the lyrics are definitely do all without moving,
Oh yeah.
that kind of stuff. So it's definitely a meditation, trippy kind of thing, but a little less drug fueled. Maybe it gets dinged a little on that, but it's
Hmm.
heavier on the transcendental meditation part of it.
Yeah, for sure. Then my number six would be, let's see, I have Being for the Benefit of Mr. Kite.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
again has all the,
Are
you
there
know,
tape loops on that one? I'm not sure.
yeah, yeah, not loops. Yeah, no, 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 no tapes or anything. It's really straight ahead. No, even though it's clearly written, the words are off of the poster. The way it's put together, it's the musical production
Yeah.
is very much the atmospheric psychedelic experience here. And yeah, like you said, the cut up tape loops, the randomness of it, the calliopes, the dreamy, swirly
Yeah.
stuff, and the ending with the
Yeah.
organ going, and yeah, it's the whole production to me.
Yeah, the maxing your brain out. I can imagine being on drugs and hearing all this
Oh
stuff in
yeah.
your headphones and just being like, "Whoa."
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
And then you almost need that flip the side and the
Yeah, the
calmness.
little within you without you to
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my number six.
Well, that's funny of how 4 years didn't make my list.
Yeah,
But
unexpected.
four of mine didn't make your list. So, and we'll see about the top five, but I would imagine we're
Similar.
pretty similar in the top five. I'll do my number five.
Okay.
It's all too much.
Likewise, my number five.
That's right. A
Yeah.
combination of acid rock momentum and brass band frippery. I forget who
Frippery.
put that, but I didn't write down where I got that from, but I thought that the
Ah,
brass
frippery.
band frippery was
Nice.
a hilarious thing. It's all too much was this is George saying this from the anthology. Written in a childlike manner from realizations that appeared during and after some LSD experiences and which were later confirmed in meditation.
Mm.
So he figured out that all of this is really meaningful when he did his meditation. The,
Interesting.
the guitars in the back, when I was listening to this last night, the guitars in the background are just absolutely wild in spots. Like, it just really totally kick ass.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Oh
eh,
yeah.
yeah, and
Heavy.
then but and then you got like some semi-normal horns playing like da 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 da, but the way they're buried in the mix and stuff, it's just
Hmm.
really strange stuff.
Yes.
So
And not to mention just the organ again. You've got that organ. It's also one chord or very simple harmony. It just goes around one chord. And then the buildup of the that ending of the too
too
much,
much, too
too
much,
much,
too
too much,
much.
and the string or the horns going, and then there's a long version too where it just keeps going and jamming. So
Yeah,
it was a moment, I think. I always say this is, we both agree this is kind of an underrated track.
yeah,
And lyrically, it's good. It's very descriptive, colorful lyrically too for George. It's not sour. It's not,
yeah.
some of the not totally philosophical. It, yeah, it's good lyrically.
I saw one thing that was sort of like fluffing off a couple of the lyrics, particularly the thing about going for tea.
Oh yeah.
I forget the exact line. But then I saw George talking about that, and he's like, that's part of the whole point of the song is like you're doing these trips, and then in the middle of the trip, even it's like everything gets normal, and then it's like, oh, I'm gonna have a cup of tea, and you have a cup of tea, and then time passes, and then all of a sudden everything's moving and weird again, so
Yeah, yeah.
it's sort of like it's, oh, now it's too much,
Right.
yeah. And
Yeah.
part of the what's too much is the love that shines all around you,
Yes.
so
Yes.
being a little overwhelmed by, particularly in these drug trips, being overwhelmed by the whole thing.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, it's a great choice and an
Yeah,
essential psychedelic track.
give me your number 4.
All right. Well, I can say that the rest of them are all John songs, so I'm guessing you're the
Ye-
same.
yes.
Okay.
I
Okay. All
think
right.
we've got the same top 4, I'm gonna guess.
All right. So maybe different order, but
Maybe different order.
number four, I have Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds.
Oh, okay. I had that too.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So for obvious reasons, do we even need to really
Yeah.
discuss it? It's apart from the funny stuff about the title and
Yeah.
the
Well, I wanted to
lyrics.
read from Paul McCartney
Okay.
about this in anthology. And of course, anytime you say this and anytime Paul says something like this, people are like, ah, that's bullshit. But here, I showed up at John's house and he had a drawing Julian had done at school with the title Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds above it. And we went up to his music room and wrote the song, swapping psychedelic suggestions as we went. I remember coming up with cellophane flowers and newspaper taxis, and John answered with things like kaleidoscope eyes and looking glass ties. We never noticed the LSD initial until it was pointed out later, by which point people didn't believe us. So
Hmm.
I
Interesting.
saw comments on that. Paul had nothing to do with this. Blah, what a bunch
Yeah.
of bullshit. And I'm like,
Okay.
you know better than you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
so, but at any rate, that this not being necessarily coming off of a drug trip, but the imagery and everything about it, kaleidoscope eyes and
Oh
that
yeah.
type of stuff. It's just classic.
Yeah, you just can't help but think of the song without seeing splashy colors and vibrant scenes because it's so descriptive and so colorful
Yeah,
in its lyrics and its music. Something we also should mention too in this is the look back. There's a lot of nostalgia within psychedelic experiences, and so this was that time. It's not surprising that it happens at this time.
yeah.
And talking about he's looking at Julian, his son, and his son making a drawing, and a colorful drawing, and getting that kind of childlike whimsy factor in there. So
We had just talked about Elton John's version of Lucy in the Sky
yeah.
with Diamonds, but Dave's favorite, of course, is
Oh, there's only one.
there's only
Captain
one,
Kirk.
just Captain Kirk, William Shatner's version, the girl with kaleidoscope eyes.
The best of all time.
The first time I heard that, I was driving in a car and I bought there was a collection called Golden Throats.
Yes, a couple of volumes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which was a collection of bad like celebrities doing parodies, Mae West and that kind of people doing song, Telly Savalas doing
Yeah.
Beatles covers. I don't think they were all Beatles covers. I think it was various things, but
There were different Golden Throats. There were two volumes, and some had
yeah,
others. But yeah, there
yeah.
were two Beatle ones with Leonard Nimoy, and yeah.
But when I heard this the first time, I almost wrecked my car because I was laughing so hard.
Yeah, it's
So,
it's amazing. Talk about
but yeah.
trippy and psychedelic.
Yeah. Okay, so down at 4 for me, and maybe seems low, is Tomorrow Never Knows.
Okay. And that
Um,
was my number two. So we
yeah,
swapped two and four.
yeah. So the one thing that gives this extra psychedelic punch, everything in it is psychedelic, but it's basically ripped from the lyrics are taken from The Psychedelic Experience, a book written by Timothy Leary.
The
So,
Guru.
yeah, so you can never be like, Tomorrow Never Knows. No, that's not psychedelic. Because the
No.
whole thing came from that. But the musical elements, obviously, it's just such a, there was a episode of Mad Men where Don Draper at the end of the episode takes this album out and puts this song on. And I think it was like, oh, things are different now.
Yeah,
Times have changed. And this is the song that, boop, changes things into the psychedelic era for sure.
absolutely. Yeah, I do the same thing for my students. I'll play them something else off Revolver, like Here, There, and Everywhere, or something really straightforward. And then
Yeah.
you put on Tomorrow Never Knows, and they're like, is this a different group? This is
Yeah.
something happened here.
Yeah.
And putting it on as the last song on the album is also a brilliant stroke of genius too, to let it fade out that way
Yeah.
with the craziness. But all the loops and the backward stuff and
The
the
drone
the
again.
drone and the singing through the Leslie speaker and the distortion, and yeah, it's the real deal.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Totally, totally awesome.
yes,
Oh, all these
absolutely.
songs
All
are
the yeah,
obviously
they all are
songs
great.
of the Beatles. So,
Oh yeah.
okay. So, what's your three? We both got
Okay, we've
threes
got
and
two
ones. Let's
songs
see. Let's
left.
see what they
Yeah.
are.
Yeah, we've got two. I know we have the same ones, but
Yeah,
I went back and forth with it, but I'm gonna put I Am the Walrus at number three.
that's my number three as
Okay,
well.
perfect, perfect.
Gee, I wonder what your number one is.
Yeah, Penny Lane. No, just kidding.
Yeah. So,
Uh, yeah, I Am the Walrus. Again, written part of it on a LSD trip, as John said. The production is just completely wild.
yeah,
I've when we taught this class last semester and looking at this song, the students, we really felt this was a very ominous, dark song
yeah,
and showing kind of the dark underbelly of everything in life. And it's an
yeah,
ominous, threatening kind of song, but not a good trip going
yeah,
on here.
yeah. The most Ian McDonald again. Ian McDonald or
Ian
Ian?
McDonald.
The most unorthodox and tonally ambiguous sequence John ever devised. An obsessive musical structure built around a perpetually ascending, descending MC Escher staircase of all the natural major chords.
That's just true. Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't have a set clear harmony or a clear
Yeah.
form. Yeah.
And recently and maybe this was in the box set too, but I just remember it from the more recent anthology. But the violins where they were like,
Oh, that's set.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it's just so like, woo. It
Right.
gives you chills. It's sort of the creepiness of some of these elements that are just buried in the background there.
Yeah. To that point, that also is for number one too. The George Martin had a
Yeah.
big hand in both of those songs, particularly with adding the orchestral scoring that enhances the psychedelic nature of it.
Yes. Yeah, for
So
sure. So yeah, that was
yeah, I've
and then
been
John said himself, the first line was written on one acid trip one weekend, the second line on another acid trip the next weekend, and it was filled in after I met Yoko.
okay. Well, there you
So
are.
yeah. So very
Yeah.
good.
But sitting in an English garden waiting for the sun.
Yeah.
And the sun don't come and you get your tan from standing in the English rain. I mean,
Yeah.
wow.
And then we both got number one, the same number
Yeah.
one. I'm certain is Strawberry Fields Forever, a 10 on the scale, on
Yes.
the level
Oh
of
yeah.
1 to 10. These are 10. All four of these last ones we talked are 10s
Yeah.
on psychedelic. The Mellotron. This
Yep.
was a Mike Pender from the Moody Blues, apparently. I got to know John, Paul, George, and Ringo over the years, and I introduced them to the Tron.
The Tron. If you're hip, you call it the Tron.
That's right. Within a week, all four of them had a Fabtron. I knew I would be rewarded. And the first time I heard Strawberry Fields, I was in bliss. It's the closest thing to recording with them other than my visits to Abbey Road that I did.
Mm.
So, yeah. It's so the Mellotron, obviously, at the beginning.
Yeah.
What else in this? Just everything
Well,
about
the arrangement, the slowed down,
it. Yeah.
it slower tempo, or the tape was slowed down, so it sounds even more druggy,
Yeah.
and the guitar sound, the background, the vocals, the lyrics. I mean, everything. It's the whole
Yeah.
product, the nostalgia factor. Yeah.
Yeah. The video
The video,
is
especially.
awesomely weird,
Yeah.
where they've got Paul walking backwards and all that kind
Pouring
of stuff.
paint on a piano, like a
Yeah,
broken down
just
piano. And
and just like George walking around, just as like his face and just sort of like walking and looking
yeah.
crazy.
Yep.
So yeah, it's the everything about the colors,
Yes.
the there's nothing about Strawberry Fields Forever that's not psychedelic at all.
No,
So
that gets the 10 out of 10 extreme
yeah.
factor.
And take you down. Let me take you down because I'm going take you down. Like, well, like
Yeah.
I'm taking you down on a journey, on a trip. So,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
So, yeah. So we're in pretty good agreement there.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm gonna just name a song, and you tell me if it's if it's above five, or you can give me however you want to do it.
Okay.
Go.
Okay.
So I'm going before, or I guess Rain came out about the same time as Norwegian Wood. Is
Hmm.
that psychedelic?
I would say no. I would say it's more pot influenced
Yeah,
in its mellowness
yeah.
and yeah.
What
So
about the word?
I
The
again
word is love. In the
yeah,
beginning, I misunderstood. So
yeah,
there's a little bit of that lyrically that's sort of like it's at least Summer of Lovey kind of
it
feel.
is. Yeah, it's more again the marijuana I would say because that was
Yeah.
the pot discovery. So probably not psychedelic.
Love You Too.
I had that on my list as a
Hmm.
possibility, but just it has a lot of the things, but so does Indian music, and Indian
Yeah.
music is not psychedelic
I'd maybe
particularly.
give that a like a five.
That's what I had actually,
Yeah.
five. Yeah.
What about Dr. Robert? Now, I feel like Dr. Robert is this is
Mm,
directly talking about getting drugs,
true.
but it's not really that trippy. It's more like just a basic rock song.
Yeah.
So I'd
The
say
only
give it
part,
maybe like a three.
yeah, three or four, maybe
Yeah,
for the well, 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 you're feeling
yeah.
fine. That part's a
Yeah,
little
that's a little, yeah.
out there, but yeah, not too much. No.
Yellow Submarine. What about Yellow Submarine?
No.
It's too,
I
it's got a lot of tape loops and a lot of
it
weird.
does. Yeah.
The life of these, but it's a little too cartoony, I think.
Yeah, I'd say so.
What about Within You, Without You?
I had that also on my list as a possibility.
Mm,
It has the philosophical factor and
yeah,
the sophisticated arrangements and the all of the stuff around it, but it's an Indian music piece, so
yeah,
hard to know. So I maybe a four to
yeah,
five.
yeah. I'd say five, five.
Yeah.
Day in the Life.
I also had that one too. I think it's apart from the well, it's got the orchestral weirdness and the
Yeah,
it has some moments, but the I'd love to turn you on and the transition.
yeah, yeah. So maybe
So
like a six to me. I mean,
yeah,
there's the weirdness to it, and but I mean,
I had a six too, actually. Yeah.
really to me, it's not like I feel like the lyrics are more obtuse than they are. It's like mundane stuff, but in the musical context is supposed to be give it meaning. Whereas some of these, the ones that made, I don't know, but
We're not talking about cellophane flowers of yellow and
yeah,
green
yeah.
here.
There's not the imagery doesn't that it pulls up is more regular life than
Right.
this. Oh, I'm going on a journey.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I think that the what about All You Need Is Love?
I didn't
That's
put that
very 60s summer
yeah.
of love, but is it psychedelic necessarily? I don't think so.
I don't think so. No, I would say no.
And then Magical Mystery Tour.
I had that also as a possibility because of
Yeah.
the fact of what it is,
Yeah.
going on a magical mystery tour and the wild stuff towards the end and
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
what's going to happen. Maybe they're talking about drugs. Maybe it
Yeah.
is a tour or a trip
I definitely
mystery
throw
trip.
it on the playlist.
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
and I'd put it at about a 6 too.
I gave it a 6 or 7 actually. Yeah.
This one is probably the closest that didn't make my list. Well, the second closest. I'll get come to the closest. Across the Universe.
Also here,
Yeah.
yeah, lyrically, maybe.
Yeah. I think lyrically it is a little more on that. I was talking about the meditation thing.
Yeah, it's more
It's more on
meditative.
this learning about life kind of thing. So
Yeah,
it's psychedelic adjacent more than it's
that's
really
a
all
good.
that
I like that.
psychedelic.
Yeah, and especially depending whichever version you pick.
Yeah.
There's the
Wow,
one,
wow, wow,
yeah,
wow,
with
wow,
that
wow.
the Let
Yeah.
It Be version or the Birds and the
Yeah.
high like women's chorus or
Yeah.
whatever. But yeah, it's psychedelic adjacent.
Yeah, and it's sort of like we were talking about Incredible String Band. I watched a big documentary, by the way, on it's on YouTube from BBC Four about psychedelic music and the
Hmm.
origins of it, and I thought that was fascinating. And particularly, it was focused in Great Britain, so
Oh
there
yeah.
was a lot of Incredible String Band and things like that. Dear Prudence, I saw that on some lists. I'm like,
No, not at
no,
all.
not at
No.
all.
Mm-mm.
That's like a 2 for me.
Yeah.
Wild Honey Pie.
That I saw on a list too. And no,
Yep.
it's not psychedelic. I think it's
It's
just a
just goofy.
goof. Yeah, just goofy. Yeah.
What about Revolution 9?
That was a possible one. Yeah, given that John and Yoko were really in charge of it, and
Mhm.
but it's more avant-garde
Yeah, it's
than
more avant garde
psychedelic
experimental
experimental.
thing.
Yeah.
Now, this one, what's the new Mary Jane?
Yeah.
It's definitely a drugs song,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
big time. And
Uh,
even though it's Mary Jane and marijuana, the music sound and the sound of it is more experimental, weird. It's more psychedelic, I think, than I was gonna put it in my list actually because I
yeah.
was like, Dave's definitely not gonna do this
No, no.
because he doesn't like it at all. I like it a little bit better, but just remember getting a bootleg tape. By the way, I got a cassette player in my kitchen, and I've been pulling out the old bootleg tapes.
Ooh, ooh.
so
Nice. Yeah.
so I had one that was called Off White.
Yeah, I remember
And
Off-White.
yeah,
Yeah.
and what's the new Mary Jane was on that. I was like, whoa, awesome!
Yeah, yeah,
The
yeah.
first few times you hear it, and then it's like, okay, this is a little bit.
Yeah. You could see why they left it
Yeah,
off.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, but okay, so yeah, so I'd say that's a 6 or 7.
Yeah, I'd say
Pretty
so.
close.
Yeah, yeah.
Octopus's Garden. What about that?
No, I
Yep.
no, I don't think so. It's just because something's a little whimsical doesn't mean that it's psychedelic
Yeah.
necessarily. So I would say no.
This was the one that spurred this whole
Oh
section
yeah.
because I don't
Right.
understand at all why because is on a psychedelic playlist. It's not, you know,
No, because of the lyrics are kind of philosophical again. But
yeah.
again, that doesn't necessarily mean it's psychedelic, and the arrangement certainly isn't.
And I don't think when I think of psychedelic music, I don't think of 3-part harmonies and stuff.
No,
I think of
beautiful
like,
harmony
yeah,
and no,
yeah.
definitely not.
Don't you want somebody to love and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So it just doesn't. That's to me,
No.
that's a 1. And
Yeah.
yeah, any playlist that has it on it is illegitimate.
It's all wrong. Yeah.
and then,
Yeah.
the last one I saw that could be mentioned is Sun King. Which, if you
Mm,
isolate Sun King on its own, here comes the Sun King.
yeah,
So
maybe.
I'd say like that's a 4, maybe to me.
Yeah.
But there's nothing other than that. Is there any other song
I had
that was
one
on your list?
more.
Oh, really?
Yeah, one more that was not on your list, which was
Yep.
Baby You're a Rich Man.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
that kind of
stuff and
thing.
the how does it feel to
Yeah.
be one of the beautiful people?
Yes. Oh, yeah, you're winning me over on that one. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
maybe 6.
Beautiful. Yeah, it's definitely on that. There's a scale. There's on this side is I am the god of hellfire, the scary ones.
Yeah.
And on this side is like incense and peppermints,
Right,
that kind
right.
of fruity like Aquarius, the age of
Yeah,
Aquarius,
Aquarius, peace
let
and
the
love.
sun shine in, everything's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that one's definitely up here.
Yeah. So that was the only other one that I
Yeah.
had that could be possibly considered. But
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty good a
Yeah.
good list here, and it
Do
really
you?
does go to show that after Magical Mystery Tour, it really faded out as a an interest for the Beatles, the
Yeah.
psychedelic genre, and everybody else. And it was
Yeah.
looked really dated if you were still talking about flowers and
Yeah.
LSD and trips in 1969.
Well, I think like the song that I mentioned before, Green Tambourine,
Yeah.
once pop groups are doing their version of psychedelic music, it's like, oh, okay, let's move on to something cooler.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. The
Let's not
lame people
repeat
are
ourselves, or so
right.
all the music is going to be so.
Exactly.
But it's a big, from warm San Franciscan nights to
Yeah, yeah.
sunshine of your love. It's a very diverse sort of like electric ladyland, you could say
Oh
that.
yeah, throwing
It's
Sly
a
and the
very,
Family Stone and
yeah, and then you get into like we said, the funk and all that kind of stuff.
yeah.
It's a big, diverse pot of stuff that is a little bit, although we attempted to, hard to define, but certainly something I would say I like
Yes, definitely.
psychedelic music, and there is one kind of active psychedelic group that we've talked about before on this podcast, and that transitions us to news, and that is the Claypool Linen Delirium,
All right.
right?
Yes,
And they
Sean's out with new music.
that's right, and they have a brand new single, WAP. Now, WAP, that is not a cover of a recent song, but instead it's WAP, and in parentheses, what a predicament. So the whimsical music of Claypool Linen Delirium. The album hasn't been announced as of our recording, but they have announced a tour. If you're a big Les Claypool fan, I'm not. We've talked about this before. I like Sean Lennon. I like his music. Loved his instrumental album Asterisms and his solo stuff. Loved Ghost of a Saber-Toothed
Oh yeah,
Tiger.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm a little bit less of a fan of Claypool Lynn and Delirium, but certainly they're psychedelic. They had the cover of Astronomy Domini. Remember that?
Yeah, the Pink
They did.
Floyd. Yeah,
But anyway, Les Claypool is taking three of his projects:
yeah.
Claypool Lynn and Delirium, Primus, and Dave's favorite, Les Claypool's Fearless Flying Frog Brigade
Oof.
on a joint tour this summer. Press release calls Claypool Gold one mind-melting musical experience. Each night,
Mm.
all the bands will share the stage all at once for a fluid show featuring wildly different set lists and surprises. So it does sound
Wow.
interesting. If you're into any of those groups, Primus or whatever, I'd get tickets for that. So that's the big
All right.
psychedelic news.
All
Uh,
right. Good
yeah.
segue there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, other news. Dave's also been dying for another Wings collection. It
You know,
came.
I just wasn't enough to have the one last year. So I'm really glad when I got the email this week from the Paul McCartney dot
Yeah,
com store saying, you know what, Man on the Run, it's not just a movie. Wings wasn't just a book,
that's
but you
right.
can also get a soundtrack.
Yeah.
Woohoo! More
Paul,
Wings.
Paul McCartney Man on the Run soundtrack. It does feature three unreleased tracks. So there's, unlike Wings, the
Yeah.
collection, which really, I mean, technically, I guess it had some unreleased stuff in there that was like new mixes or new remasters of certain hit tracks. But this one is a 12-track album, follows hot on the heels of last year's. Like that was like such a big
Like
hit.
hot on the heels.
Wings collection, and features tracks from Paul McCartney, Paul, and Linda McCartney, and Wings. So it folds in some solo stuff. So three of the songs are repeated from Wings: Band
Great.
on the Run, Mull of Kintyre, Let Me Roll It. Uh, Two tracks are solo tracks. That would be something in Coming Up, which we know Coming Up was a Wings track, and then it
Yeah. Yeah.
became a McCartney 2 song. A couple of numbers are from Ram, Long Haired Lady, Too Many People. The demo of Silly Love Songs is included, which was already released. And then Big Barn Beds on the release. So what's the new stuff? It's a rough mix of Arrow Through Me. Have you heard this? It's streaming now.
Oh no, I've
Rough
not heard
mix
it.
of Arrow Through Me, and the big difference is during the bop 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 but it does. It's Paul going doot da doot doot doot.
Oh, he's
So
singing it.
it's
Okay.
interesting, but that's a outtake from Back to the Egg. So this was Paul Sinclair from Super Deluxe Edition said. So fans can either take that as a positive hint that the box is coming out, or think more negatively. If it was coming, Paul would certainly save this for outtake for it. So of course we can't take anything from that. So that's one track. Another track is Live and Let Die. It's a live version, but from Rock Show. So pulled from the film Rock Show
Okay.
and put into there. But the one that's the most interesting is the very weird track that Paul wrote for Twiggy, right? Gotta Sing, Gotta Dance. And that appeared in the James Paul McCartney 1973 TV special. I
Right.
feel like we should do a.
We did.
Oh, we did.
We did.
I forgot about it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
we did put them in the movies. On
Yes,
that?
we
Okay,
reviewed
good,
it. Yeah.
good.
TV special. Yes.
So what's your
Okay.
take? What's your take on that?
Unnecessary.
Yeah.
Another redundant collection in a lot of ways. I'm
Mhm.
more interested. Are you going to go see the film? I saw it's coming to Kansas City in next week, I believe, the 17th or something.
Man on the Run.
Yes. Are you going to
Man
go
on the Run
see?
is also going to be streaming on Amazon at the end of the month. So I think I'm gonna
Yeah, not going to go to the
save it to
theater.
that. I'm
Okay.
gonna go to the theater. I don't believe I'm gonna see it
Yeah.
streaming on Amazon at the end of the month. So,
Okay.
but
All
certainly
right.
if it's in a theater near you, then go to that. But
Yeah.
we'll have a link to this. I mean, this if you gotta have everything.
Yeah.
I don't think Gotta Sing, Gotta Dance is going to appear on anything else
No.
ever. So this would be your chance to get it, I think. So we'll have a link to the Amazon exclusive version of this in our show notes. So,
Okay.
now we won't have links to these.
Oh boy.
The list came out for Record Store Day 2026, April 18th. And if you love these zoetrope things, you gotta have a chance to get them. Their quantity on these are 3,000, and it's Dark Horse and Extra Texture this time.
Whoa. Two
Yeah.
of them.
Two of them. So get your chance there. And then they also have, I mean, you probably didn't even hear about this, but the Radha Krishna Temple album,
Oh
the
yeah.
1971 album produced by George Harrison and originally released on Apple Records with their two hit singles.
Yes, I have the original here.
Oh, wow. Well,
Wow.
Hare Krishna mantra and
Govinda.
with other Sanskrit worded mantras and prayers recorded from with Harrison, out of print since 1993, will be released on the Dark Horse imprint for the first time for Record Store Day.
Okay.
So, and I
All right.
think there's 3,000 of those as well.
All right.
So, but the big one,
Oh, this is what we're
you're
waiting for. Hot off the
totally
heels.
geeked up.
Hot off the heels of the Mind Games meditations, right?
That's right. Which
Yeah.
we thought, oh, this is going to be meditation of songs on Mind Games. No, it was a meditation of the song
The
Mind
song.
Games. Well, how about doing it again? How about going
Yeah.
back to it and doing love meditation mixes? So it's a limited edition 3 LP set produced by Sean Lino, available on iridescent pearl Arctic 180 gram transparent vinyl
Oh
and a
man.
triple gatefold lilac mirrorboard sleeve.
Whew.
So it's 4,500 of these printed.
How much are they going to be? Do they know yet?
No, but at 3
Yeah,
vinyl records, it's got to be probably like $59 or something.
I was going to say 60 or
something like
70.
that. So,
Yeah.
but and then, it's got binaural beats and stuff. The Mind Games meditation mixes, I have streamed them. They're fine,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not gonna personally. I'm not gonna go to the store and wait in line. I don't think you would even if this is all you want. I don't think you'd need to go to the store. I think you can go days later.
Yeah,
to
it
your
won't
local
sell
record
out.
shop and find this thing. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So I was joking that, and coming in 10 years, the Meat City
Yeah.
meditation mixes,
Meat City and then beef jerky.
beef
Let's have
jerky.
the both
Yeah.
meat things here.
So, but yeah, I can see them. I mean, I can see people buying this and enjoying them, but
Yeah.
it's not something I'm all that interested in, even though I do meditate every day. And, you know,
Yeah.
so
And if you like it, you can listen to it streaming if you want.
yeah.
If you don't want to buy it, you can hear
You
it that
know,
way.
think what we're advising is everybody drop some acid,
Yeah.
put on your meditation mixes.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
No,
Yeah.
no. Joking, of course. So,
Oh,
but yeah, so that's the news. I was waiting for better Paul news than that. Maybe we will get some Paul release. I don't think there's going to be any other John release this year, do you?
I don't know. It doesn't. It seems like they're holding off on the
Yeah.
Walls and Bridges till next year, and
Oh. Well,
uh,
the movies, the movie
the
version of the
movies would be
concerts.
the thing for us to talk about. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly,
Oh,
exactly. Before we roll out today, we have a message, a please, Mr. Postman message from longtime friend of the show, Carl, who says, as always, I enjoyed your year-end review episode. When considering new releases, I'd just like to remind listeners that there's a valid alternative to vinyl, CDs, and streaming, and that's the good old MP3 store. I'm never concerned about a new set's configuration because I pick and choose which tracks to buy anyway. As an example, the released Anthology 4 only contains about 13 songs that hadn't been previously released, as you know. So instead of buying entire discs, I only bought the tracks I wanted.
very smart.
Yes, very smart. Likewise, I only bought a handful of the Power to the People tracks, not being interested in the evolution mixes and such.
Yeah.
I I know everyone has their own way of doing things, but this option works really well. Carl from Maine for giving that great point. Something to keep in mind for people who don't want to spend the tons of money on the full boxes or the
Yeah.
CDs.
I know people they've got a big hard drive. They put CDs in, they rip them in the highest quality possible, or they download in their stores that sell like high quality, like
Yeah, the
FLAC files
flax.
and that kind of thing.
Hmm.
I have some FLAC files of some of the Beatles mono stuff that I found somewhere.
Yeah.
Um, and so that is a very valid point, very good point by the listener that if you're not into the vinyl and don't want to, and my friend, I just had lunch with my friend Cunnan, and he's like, and I'm like, have you bought a record player yet? Are you gonna get into records? He said no, and I said don't, just
Good
because like
advice.
if you want to keep your
Eat.
money, it's and if you do, if you are into the vinyl and if you are into the record stuff like I am, I think too, be a little more selective.
Yeah.
Select things that are audiophile level, which now the audiophile, like we were talking about Rhino Reserves,
Yeah, right, right.
that's 31 bucks instead of $50 or whatever for high
Yeah,
quality, or the way the original master recording things used to be, where
exactly. I
they're
remember
really
those.
jacked up prices, So,
Yeah,
but yeah, that's a very good point. You could do the pay for the songs you want and keep them and they're yours too.
exactly.
Because you
Exactly.
can have people, sometimes for political reasons, uh, yanking their stuff.
Yeah. In
And
fact, we
on,
just saw, didn't we just see that Neil Young is wanting to pull all of his music off Amazon Music,
yeah.
and he's going to give it as a gift to Greenland.
Yeah,
So that,
Greenland's going to have free access to all the, and he has his own archive store where you can pay. That's another thing. You can, if you're a big fan of, say, Neil Young, you can pay Neil Young directly and have access to all of his music in high quality on the internet. So,
right,
so
right.
it's sort of like his own streaming that he's doing through his website. So there's a
Yeah.
lot of that popping up, and of course there's Bandcamp,
Yep.
where at least they have now Bandcamp. Who owns Bandcamp now is a question, but
Hmm.
and they do take a cut of people's music sometimes, but they also have these days called Bandcamp Fridays where they waive their fee. And so anything you buy on Bandcamp that day goes to the artist. Yeah, so there's, and the other thing about Bandcamp is there's some artists like Cindy Lee, who I've talked about many times, wonderful artist, only through Bandcamp.
Right.
Doesn't do Spotify, doesn't do any of that other stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah, so
It's a
it's a wild world out
it's a
there.
brave new world.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
but
Absolutely.
yeah,
But yeah,
but
all right.
great point. We have such brilliant listeners.
We
We had
do.
a
We
listener
do.
that pointed out an error I made, by the way, in our
Oh,
song album career episode. I mentioned a song for Gus, and it really, this title is Song for Guy, and it's about a totally different guy.
oh,
So,
whoops.
and I was like, "Whoa, thanks for pointing out my error."
Yeah.
So we're happy to be corrected
Yes,
by
definitely.
our
So,
very smart listeners,
yes.
who are much smarter than me.
Well, it's good. Keep the comments coming, and we hope you enjoyed this psychedelic voyage, this psychedelic trip, as Chris is going to put his glasses back on as we go out for this episode. And
Peace and love, everybody.
yeah, peace and love. So, thanks as always for listening, and we will be back at you soon with a new episode.